Yes, and good afternoon from our Day 4 coverage of the 80th Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. And this is No Limit. David Goetz, the former president of Australian Sailing, coming home about 90 minutes ago in 6th place over the line. Seventh place over the line actually, and alongside me Peter Shipway. So that's another fantastic result, Peter, for No Limit and David Goetz, the 7th boat to finish in this year's race.
Another to have an agonising trip across Storm Bay and up the river. They were around early around Tasman Island, but just sat in the bay and then slow trip up the river. And unfortunately, that stoppage that they've had with being slow has dropped them right down the handicap list.
Yeah, well, they finished 5th over the line last year and 7th overall. And that frustration certainly in Storm Bay has proved a difficult situation for quite a few boats here today. But just to recap, 128 started in the 80th edition, 7 have now finished, and 2 have finished today. Celestial V70 at 5:17 this morning, and now No Limit about 90 minutes ago. And 34 have retired, 87 are still racing. And again, our special thanks to our partner, Tasports. That's the brilliant situations. We look on to the Kings Pier Marina, and in the background there you see the famous Constitution Dock, where the Sydney Hobart fleet mainly used to berth, Peter, and I guess you were berthed in there quite a few times, in the actual Constitution Dock the top of the screen.
Exactly right in the dock. But what that shows us, that magnificent shot, is that there's not many boats finished, 7 only, and that's why it's been a slow race, relatively slow race, and that's why the little boats or smaller rating boats are starting to figure on the handicap list at the moment. But long way to go. I keep saying it, repetition, but it is a long way to go. Tonight is the most critical night of the race to decide the overall winner for sure.
And Peter, there are 87 still racing, and a couple of the internationals are now in the Derwent. I'm referring to Aragon from the Netherlands and Callisto from New Zealand. Callisto had to finish at 2:50 this afternoon to take over the clubhouse leadership from Celestial V70, but they failed there. Again, they stumbled and really lamented in Storm Bay coming around Cape Raoul.
Yeah, they've had a terrible trip across the bay. Got to Tasman in pretty good shape and a big chance to sort of upset, as you say, Celestial V70, but just couldn't get the job done. And there's the tracker that we're seeing there now. There's a few boats. There's Aragon and Callisto, as you said. Smugglers coming across the bay. She's past Cape Raoul. And then after that was Hollywood Boulevard and Highly Sprung. They're around Tasman. Antipodes is also around Tasman. And the rest are flying down the coast. They're doing really good speeds in fresh northerly conditions. But boy, once you get round that corner, it plays very, very big tricks on you. But outside, the little boats that are left are coming down really, really quickly. And if they can hold on tonight to that breeze, and the breeze is forecast to be in the north again tomorrow, they'll really come up the handicap list if they're not already there now.
Well, the late Bill Salters, what was his famous line about getting round Tasman?
Yeah, you've got to get the 4 o'clock bus.
The 4 o'clock bus, yeah.
If you don't get the 4 o'clock bus, you miss out.
Well, they haven't got the 4 o'clock bus, a lot of them, have they?
Well, a lot of them are, 24 hours away from the corner. But
they can look at tomorrow's 4 o'clock bus.
4 o'clock bus
and
tomorrow.
that will be too late as well. But fascinating situation. So, Peter, what about the opportunity of these smaller boats now? What's the scenario for them to come through? Perhaps we can look at the IRC standings to see who is dominating at the moment, but we mentioned the clubhouse leader is Celestial V70, Sam Haynes, looking for back-to-back handicap wins for the Tattersall Cup. How's that shaping up?
Well, it's always good to be as the clubhouse leader, because the other boats have got to get in. And as I said, tonight's the critical night. We're looking at Little Crux, a Sparkman and Stevens design 34-footer, sister ship to the 1969 winner Morning Cloud. She was built in the early 70s, and then running second is another Sparkman and Stevens design, Love and War, a 3-time winner. They've got Love and War's got 167 miles to go. They're doing pretty good speed, but Little Crux, two-hander, Carlos Ados, fantastic performance so far. And then you go down from Love and War.
Just on Love and War, Peter, the time they have to finish to take over the clubhouse leadership, that's on the 30th December at 6:47 p.m. That's tomorrow night.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
So they've got about 26 hours to finish to get home.
To beat Celestial.
Celestial.
If other boats finish and upset it,
the smaller ones,
that will change when she's got to finish by. But that just gives an indication. And I keep warning you, don't get too excited. There's a lot to play out here.
But they're all those double-handers all needing to finish around 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And Love and War is right in the thick of that. Although she's a bigger boat, she rates very well because of her age, presumably.
Well, and her weight. I mean, she's a heavy displacement boat.
Yeah.
A lot of these are light displacement boats, especially the double-handers. They're light. They get up on top of the water and are plane away. Love and Water just digs a hole in the water. So they're doing well to hang on. As is Crux. She's a heavy displacement boat relative to these more modern boats, and that is why they are very good upwind in a breeze. So they've held their line going upwind in strong winds, and they're now benefiting from that because they're proceeding at the top of the leaderboard. But you look down at the third boat.
Can we actually pan down a bit too, Peter? As you mentioned, the third boat from New Caledonia.
Yeah.
What about that pronunciation? Have you got it right now?
BNC-My
and the skipper?
Leon. Well, that's the boat's name. Michael Canton.
Michel Canton.
Michelle, it's like got Michael.
You've anglicised it. That's
right.
I'll let you off there.
Right. Well, they're all that leading group are up off Eddystone Point or St Helens on the northeast coast of Tasmania. Then Verite in 4th place. Paul Beath, he's there. Borderline, Andy Offord in 5th place. All light displacement boats that are enjoying these tough, easier downwind conditions. Toucan, Ed Curry Hyde from New South Wales in 6th spot. He's got 173 to go. Then Min River, Jung Lin with Alexis Lawson on board. They'll be hard to beat. He's a very good sailor, and Jung's hanging in there with him. She'll learn a lot in this race. And then Blue Planet, Chris O'Neill, another boat from New South Wales, another smallish boat. He's off Eddystone Point with 188 to go. Then Gizmo from Mark Michelle from New Zealand, and Gizmo also is a Jeanneau 3600 owned by Rob Drury from the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. And then 10th is MRV, Damien King's beautiful 66-foot Frères design from Victoria. He's been there or thereabouts, but he's a much bigger boat, and to upset Celestial, he's got to get in by just after 1:30 tomorrow morning. So we might just go back and have a look at perhaps some of the PHS results. That's the performance handicap. They don't figure in the IRC. We've got Cyan Moon, who's won this division before, and in 2nd place Just Far Love, and they've won it. They were the winners last year. Scott Lovell, he's won the race. He's defending his PHS title. And then 3rd is Wild Oats in the PHS division. That's the original Wild Oats for Bob Oatley, built in 1985, 43-foot Far design, won the race outright twice. So she's back in the PHS division. So again, proving her worth. Bruce Farr design, built for the Admiral's Cup trials in 1985. Then we might have a look at the IRC Corinthian division. That is the amateurs, and Crux leads that from Love and War, and then BNC Minet. So all those boats that are now figuring in the overall list of IRC winners are Corinthian boats, no professionals on board. And that's wonderful for the race, I think. Really good for the race. It shows that the amateurs can get out there and push the professionals hard. And at the moment, look what's sitting on the leaderboard. The top sort of 6 on Corinthians are almost the top 6 on IRC.
And you hear a lot of the skippers saying, if we can win our division, we can then say, well, maybe we can win overall.
That's right. You've got to win your division.
You've got to win your division.
It goes without saying, but we'll come back to the IRC again and just have a look perhaps quickly at the divisional placings. The fleet's broken into 6 divisions based on size. The big boys are on Division 0, the small boats Division 6. On Division 0, well, you'd expect Celestial V70, Lucky and Scallywag. They're the top 3 at the moment there. Then we go to Division 1. The boats are getting a little bit smaller. Highly Sprung, still 36 miles to go. Smuggler, across the bay near Cape Rowell and approaching the Iron Pot. She's second. And then Sticky, Richard Harris's boat from New South Wales, 53 miles to go, still about 12 miles north of Tasman Island. Then
and frantic there, don't leave out Michael Martin.
Oh, he won't forget us if we leave him out. He'll really get stuck into us.
They did a fantastic job. I think they won. Did they win the handicap prize in the Sydney Auckland recently? Second place behind Lucky.
He's the Australian rugby footballer, the Wallaby, Mick Martin.
A very special one. In 1980, he scored the match-winning try against the All Blacks at the SCG when Australia won the Bledisloe Cup. But we don't talk about the Bledisloe Cup, do we?
No, we don't. No, we pass on. We pass on to Division 2 in the IRC. And MRV is leading that from back to black. Sean Langman, he's coming home with a wet sail, 15.8 knots. And then Scarlet Runner third. Division 3, we'll have a look. KD1 is leading that from Team White Wave and Tenacity. Then we go to Division 4. Boats are getting smaller. Bacchanal, the leader there from Janan and Mondo. Division 5, we cover on BNC Milet Leon and Gizmo and Bacardi, the veteran that has done more Hobart races than any other yacht. And Division 6, and these are the small rating boats, Crux, Love and War and Verite.
Well done, Peter Shipway. You really have mastered the art of the tracker and the standing.
No, that was all from memory. I wasn't looking at the tracker.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, we've seen a lot of Master Lock Comanche above the water, and what a sensational finish yesterday on the Derwent River. But what about this 100-foot machine, multi-million-dollar machine, below decks?
We're aboard Master Lock Comanche, inside access into the 100-footer. There's none of the 21 crew aboard at the moment, and it's here just for you for an inside tour on what this boat looks like. Starting at the back of the boat, we've got the nice carbon steering wheels where obviously the skippers are here, steering from either side depending on what tack they're on. Crew water bottles, a little bit of a funny feature that you can't see from the TV. Plenty of big winches, 7 on board, controlling the sails. The ropes run back to here so that the crew can trim big sails, big loads. They need the big winches. Pulleys, I don't think I've seen a pulley this big before. Very smooth running, and if you come further with me into the boat, this is the pit area where the crew is able to make the control decisions on what to do with the headsails, with the mainsail. How are they going to trim it? Do they want more twist? Do they want it flatter, deeper? There's probably normally 10 or so of the crew here and 10 or so more on the rail. Coming below deck on Master Lock Comanche, underneath here is huge. It's very spacious. Everything is carbon, it's light, ready to go, but honestly, it's a jungle gym. But here it seems that they've got a little kitchenette area, water and food, or what's left of from this year's race. Coming further into the bow, and the wet weather gear and PFDs hanging up, and numbers for the 21 of them. There's 10 bunks aside, so obviously one without, but not everyone would be down here at once, I assume. And I've heard from the crew that the guys that operate the water ballast are often on bean bags. There is so much room down here. And at the base of the mast, you can see the electronics with the true wind speed, true wind angle, all of the inputs that the team on deck needs to make the decisions driving the boat. And if you'll follow me, careful of that long jib track, we've got the sheets that control the headsails, the different types of headsails that go into the bow at different positions. You've got the J3, the J2 and the J1 all the way up on the bow, and we've got the sails on deck at the moment, likely the ones that they came here with or ones for the delivery on the way back to Sydney. The bow is still quite large, as is the rest of the boat. I certainly wouldn't want to be up here offshore when they're going over swell. But now you've had the inside on the 80th Rolex Sydney Hobart Line Honours winner.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Evie, for that guided tour, and it really is a space-age machine, Peter Shipway.
Yeah,
It's the
all
only way to
carbon, all
describe it.
carbon, and that's what the yachts are like these days. A big change to 50 years ago, like a boat like Crux or Love and War. It's very different, but built to go fast, and that's what they do.
Yeah, built in 2014 and brought to Australia by Jim Clark, the Netscape billionaire, and I'll never forget Christy Hinds, the granddaughter of Russell Hinds, the former Minister for Roads in Queensland, steering that boat over the line into second place behind Wild Oats 11.
Yes, she's hard to forget. The boat, I mean.
Well, what about the bridesmaid in this year's race? They've had a fantastic rivalry. Christian Beck describes his boat in a certain way. We're not going to repeat it on air, but he said definitely it's inferior to Comanche. But let's hear a bit more now from Christian Beck, who has won the last 2 line honours before 2025.
I'm here with owner-skipper of Lorcanet, Christian Beck. Definitely a hard race this year, a lot of upwind sailing, but the crew pulled through with second over the line, and maybe not quite the result you're hoping for, but considering a ripped mainsail, instruments were down, how proud are you of the crew?
Oh, look, I'm very proud, and if you look at the last few years, they've done exceptionally well. I think we've been first out of the heads the last 5 years in a row, and we won the last 2 races, so that was exceptionally good. And I think even this race on our boat, which against Comanche and the rest of the fleet, to be first of the heads and come second is still a very good result. So I'm very, very proud of the crew.
You've got quite an experienced crew on board.
It's incredibly impressive what they do. If you look at all the things that went wrong, their ability to fix the issues under pressure is just incredible. You know, and this is an environment where I can't even stand up, I'm that sick, and they can crawl underneath the boat and fix main sheet rips and do all sorts of things. It's amazing. The tough bit about the race, that wasn't the roughest I've been, it wasn't the roughest upwind, but it was the longest. Like, it was 30 to 35 hours of upwind, and it was horrifically bad just the time. It's a bit like, say you're on a economy flight to the US and it's 14 hours. You can put up with that, but if it was like 35 hours, how would you go? I think it's like, and I got sick as well. It was just terrible, and I think that's what was hard about this race.
Such an experienced crew that you've got on board, and I think we all take our hats off to how you finished this year's Sydney Hobart. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's a terrific ambassador for the race, Peter Shipway.
He loves it. Very laid back, very casual, but I think, as he said, he'd love to be first out the heads. They've done that for the last, 5 years in a row, so that's a real highlight for him.
That's why he first bought the boat, so that he could be first out there. I think he said it's the Melbourne Cup and also the Bathurst car races. They're the events that captured his imagination, along with the Sydney Hobart Yacht Race.
First out the heads. Well, he's still got 625 miles to go after he does that. But anyway, well done to them. Second in a very, very good performance.
And the other eye catcher was Lucky from the United States, the 88-footer, Byron Earhart from the New York Yacht Club. And boy, didn't she enjoy those reaching conditions off the Tasmanian coast.
Excellent crew, and just missed out being the clubhouse leader at the moment by 1 minute and 17 seconds. So an impressive performance. Second time she's been here. She was here first as Rambler 88. Now it'll be a great boat to see come back, because outstandingly well sailed with some top crew aboard. Just seeing them jibing down the coast in very pleasant conditions of yesterday afternoon.
Yes, when you say top crew, there were some absolutely World Hall of Fame sailors there on board.
Yeah, Brad Butterworth, America's Cup winner, Whitbread Round the World winner, Admiral's Cup winner, just to name one of many.
Okay, Hangar Road, Hollywood Boulevard, representing the Royal Ocean Racing Club, chartered by Mike Miller. Again, another boat that really enjoyed the conditions, and I presume they're flying their drone to get this spectacular shot. But after all of that pounding to windward, as Christian Beck described it, it was horrible, it was brutal. But now to get these sorts of conditions, we've had everything in this Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Yeah, we've got time to fly the drone, so that's Looks all pretty nice sailing there, that's for sure. She actually was formerly Living Doll, a Far 55, that finished second to Loki in the 2011 Rolex Sydney Hobart race. So she's had an impressive record in this race, and at the moment she is about 30 miles to go. She's off Cape Rowell.
And another that has really enjoyed those very similar conditions is Highly Sprung, Mark Spring.
Yeah, well, they're the next boat behind Hollywood Boulevard. That's she's in 12th place on line honours, Hollywood Boulevard in 11th. She's approaching Tasman Island and doing about 12 and a half knots.
Well, Pete, I think it's time for a change of pace. And have you been to the Taste of Tasmania yet?
Not
the Taste
yet.
of Summer.
Not yet.
Why not?
Been too busy.
Eating your scallop pies.
No, I haven't even had time for that. I'm trying to catch up on my trivia so I can catch you out. So stay tuned.
Well, the Taste of Summer, it's an annual event celebrating Tasmanian food and beverage. It's very popular. You can have a rock band there. You'd probably enjoy that side of it a little later this evening. But I think it's the biggest in Australia. Have you any information on that?
I think it's the biggest in the world.
Is that right?
I believe
okay.
so.
All right.
If it's not, we'll make it the biggest in the world. It's pretty big.
Well, let's get the true story from Evie.
Come down and enjoy Tasmanian produce and Hobart sun while you're waiting for yachts of the Sydney Hobart to come into Constitution Dock. What an amazing opportunity it is to have over 80 stalls. There were 14,000 people through the doors just yesterday, and over 100,000 people come to the Taste of Summer every year. You can have the best of Tasmania's very own produce, oysters, seafood, wine, whiskey, something sweet maybe for you, Gordon, yourself. There's plenty going on down here. You've got live music to enjoy. It's family friendly, and what a better spot to see the yachts come in than at the Taste of Summer.
Looks fantastic. Have you been able to grab anything so far, Evie, or what has caught your eye?
I think maybe one of the cool drinks from the bar, Gordon, but I'll have to do that once I clock off.
Well, those cool climate Pinots, I had one the other night from the Bangor winery, and I can really recommend that, the cool climate Pinot Noir, Peter Shipway. So that's one for you to store away before you head back to Sydney. But it really is quite spectacular, and you must get yourself along there.
I will. So it's Bangor, is that who we're promoting? Bangor wines, are we get a free bottle? Is that what you...
No, well, that's the one I tried.
Oh, okay.
And it was
right.
very impressive.
All right.
Yeah,
I
enjoyed it.
I'll take your recommendation.
Well, the Hobart Mercury is the newspaper here in Hobart, and it's a daily newspaper, and they have been a real staunch supporter of this race for as long as I've been involved with the race. And there was a terrific cartoon this morning here, Peter. So Christopher Downs, who's a celebrated cartoonist, you might take us through it and translate it for us.
Well,
if we don't win, at least we'll get line Onyas. What's that? Onya, mate.
Good on ya.
Onya!
Very clever.
Yeah.
Well done.
Very clever. Now, what about Borderline, a two-hander? I know you are pretty familiar with this boat. It's skippered by Andy Offord from the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. He is a plumber from Wollongong, but also he has an outstanding co-skipper on board, Ian Hoddle, who has a sister ship to this boat, Game On, and has been very successful in that boat. But he is a real enthusiast. What do you know about this man?
Well, he's comes from Wollongong, just south of Sydney, doing very well at the moment. They've got about 170 odd miles to go, and they're east of Eddystone in 5th place overall. And they're pushing very hard. Borderline is a Sunfast 3300, one of these light displacement double-handed boats built specifically for double-handed sailing, or set up for double-handed sailing. So they're very much in line for calculations for handicap honours.
Well, here's one that I might be able to catch you out on. Do you know who he sails double-handed with occasionally?
Any clues?
You know him very well. He's won a lot
Yes,
of...
I do. I know the answer to this. Mothball, Steve Jarvin.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, 14 line honours victories. And Alice Tarnowski also is frequently sailing with him. So he really enjoys
So that's
the double-handed.
one to me now. One to me.
One to you.
Yeah.
Now I'll give that to you. But let's now catch up with Lisa Darmanin and the skipper of Borderline.
I've always had a dream of doing a Sydney Hobart with my own boat, so that was why I bought this one.
Awesome. And how long have you had this boat for?
3 years. Yeah.
And how does she fare out there double-handed? Is it still a bit of a handful, or you guys got it down pat?
It's pretty good. It's how you make it. Yeah, you can make it a handful.
And I guess for you, like obviously you've done the Sydney Hobart before, but why double-handed? What drew you to that?
Yeah, I've only done a couple of Hobarts. The last boat I had before this, I needed 10 people, and it's just, I find that quite hard. With 2 people, it's a lot easier to get someone. And plus, you're all doing something. Just sitting on the rail doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
Like sitting on the rail for day after hour doesn't interest me.
And hands-on, doing
it's
the
good.
doing.
Yeah, it's like having your own, I've got my own plumbing business, so it's like being a plumber and just working away, you know.
Yeah, perfect.
It's like that.
Yeah, great. Well, good
Not
luck.
too many bosses.
Yeah. You just got one other person to contend with.
Yeah.
Yeah, just there's a live shot of the situation at the moment. And I'm just wondering if we've got Aragon and also Callisto working their way towards the finishing line, Peter.
It looks like Callisto on the left, I think, and Aragon on the right. They're not. There's a bit of breeze there, but they don't look to be moving that quickly. But boy, Callisto's had an agonising trip across the bay from Cape Rail to the finish. Just getting the bow down now and just gathering a bit of speed. I just think they've been through a jibe and they've got about, they're pretty close to the finishing line there. Yeah, she's got good pressure there. I think that is Callisto as we come in.
That is Callisto,
That's Callisto,
yes.
yep.
This is the crack New Zealand boat who many tipped as including yourself, Peter, early on, as a great chance to take out the overall prize.
James Murray, representing the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. He's an American and a lot of New Zealanders aboard the crew, and they're down off Sandy Bay, coming quite quickly now. As you can see, the sea breeze building on the river, or has built on the river, came in at about midday, as it traditionally does here, and is bringing them home at last. I'd say they'd be really disappointed with the last few miles leading into Storm Bay, leading into the river, the Iron Pot, because it was very, very light for them.
Well, they were headed at one point here in Storm Bay by Aragon, but they put up another inner sail there, and they are flying towards the finishing line. So it looks as though Callisto is going to win that little private war with Aragon. Aragon, of course, has some famous female sailors on board. Adrian Carlin, who you've sailed with many times and enjoyed so much success with her, and Caroline Brower, triple Olympian and 2 times World Female Sailor of the Year. So that's been a little battle within the race, and that's typical of what happens in these situations. And it's frustrating for the second boat if you're not able to win the little battle, but at the moment it looks as though it's Callisto who's doing a terrific job.
Yeah, just finished, I think. They fired off the spinnaker and she is across the finishing line. I'm just looking out behind us there. There might be a bit of issue here. They've gone on the wrong side of the finishing buoy, apparently. Maybe. There's a bit of feedback we're getting. They've gone the wrong side of the finishing buoy. Can you believe this?
Well, I wonder if they realise that, Peter.
Well, they've dropped what are they doing? They've dropped the spinnaker here, and
Are they going back?
No, where are they? There. Oh no! I think what they've done. I think they were getting headed with pressure, and they couldn't carry the spinnaker into the finish. That's what they've done. They've dropped the spinnaker and heading back in towards the finish. Yeah, I think that's what's occurred. So they're not at the finish yet. They're still probably half a mile or 3/4 of a mile from the finish.
Yeah, they're heading straight towards Castrate. There's Rest Point Casino.
Yeah. They got headed, dropped the chute, and have put the headsail back up. So they're just 2 sail reaching.
But handled it all very superbly, as you expect from a professional crew. And that's the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, just off to the left there, and Battery Point, historic Battery Point, And Callisto from New Zealand is going to be the 8th boat across the line in the 80th edition.
I couldn't think that they'd missed the finishing line. I couldn't believe that would happen in this day and age for any crew, let alone this highly qualified crew of Callisto. But they're just two sail reaching nicely, and they obviously went deep away from the finishing line to stay away from any lee that the shore might have taken the breeze away from them. And now they're just quietly coming in to the finish. As you say, they'll be the 8th boat across. Disappointed, I would say, but they'll probably finish in their division. They will probably be, we'll see where they might end up in their division at the moment. I think they will be in division, will they be in division 1 perhaps?
Stu Bannatyne on board, he knows these waters well.
Yeah.
He's survived a couple of, a gripping finish in 2023, Peter, when URM was ahead on handicap, and on a live, Stu Bannatyne and Duncan Hine, the Tasmanian boat, they were able to sneak up and pip URM Group. And Stu Bannatyne on board here with other famous sailors, Dean Barker and Justin Ferris.
I think Stu's won 4 round the world races. It's a pretty impressive CV to start with, plus a Hobart race thrown in. And there's Aragon at the back, taking a similar course to what Callisto has done. They just fired their spinnaker off now, gone to a head sail and just two sail reach in. So yeah, Callisto will become the clubhouse leader in their division, which is Division 1. So that's all the maxis and the 60 footers are in the Division 0, but this is the 52s, the TP 52s, etc. There's the finishing buoy. She's about 3 or 4 boat lengths from finishing. So Callisto will shortly cross the line, and as I say, will be leading in Division 1, and Highly Sprung and Smuggler are really the 2 challenges to her. She is across, so they have finished.
3 days, 4 hours, and roughly 22 minutes for Callisto.
Yeah.
But agonising moments in Storm Bay. They certainly needed some wind this morning. They were in a situation where they could have really challenged Celestial V70, but Mother Nature did not cooperate.
But to finish this great race is a triumph in itself. There can only be one winner or a few winners of divisions, so it's shared around, and today they may win their division, but they're not going to win overall.
And still back now with Argon, and this is going to be a terrific thrill for them as well. Aragon it is.
Aragon,
I
yep.
should say.
Andres Verdio, the owner. A Martin 72 that had a new keel and bulb and new rigging ready for this race, and Adrian and Caroline are 2 outstanding women sailors aboard, and they're just nicely coming to the finish. Lovely time of day to finish, afternoon, full-on sunshine, as we saw about 24 hours ago when Master Lock Comanche stormed up the Derwent to claim the line honours, and here's Aragon just nicely coming up the river. Very, very nice sailing conditions.
Owner skipper Andres Verda, and he has his daughter Nina and son Lut on board. And looking at, it's a real United Nations crew, Peter. They have Dutch, New Zealand, Australian, French, Polish, Spanish, Belgium, and United States. So you can't do better than that. But the trimmer, Nellie Gregor, is the first mate. She comes from Queen Charlotte at Marlborough, which is the top of the South Island of New Zealand, and she's looking forward to getting home. In fact, she's been away for 10 years from New Zealand, and she's a former 420 dinghy and starling sailor, and really would have enjoyed being alongside Caroline Brouwer, the 470 and also Tornado sailor at 3 Olympic Games. So that's a terrific effort there by Aragon, and a bucket list moment there for the Dutch boat.
So 9 boats are in.
9 boats, yeah.
A few, we've got an hour or so to wait for any more to finish. So, here we are, 3 days and a few hours after the start. We haven't got 10 boats in yet. So it has been a slow race.
Well, talking of a slow race, how's it going for Blink? Let's see how they're faring off the Tasmanian coast, and again with their reaching conditions finally some respite from those terrible conditions on the first couple of days. This is on board Blink.
Yeah, a Beneteau First 40, designed by the FAR Design Office. She was 7th in 2022. This is her first trip since then, and she has about 180 miles to go.
All right, Pete. Yeah, that's a great effort there by Blink, Mark Gorbatov, and the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. Very proud of your effort. Keep going, guys. But Shippo, I believe you have a special guest.
Well, it's a very warm welcome to the west coast of the United States, to Tom Eamon, well known in yachting circles, America's Cup especially, and also as that great news platform Sailing Illustrated. Twice a week he brings it to us with all the news about yachting around the world. Tom, firstly to you, hello, welcome, and how are you enjoying the Rolex Sydney Hobart race this year?
Peter, it's the best, and we're enjoying so much you and Gordon's commentary.
How's the interest back home, Tom?
Well, it's worldwide, as I'm sure you know, Peter. We do this every Tuesday and Friday. We're the only live show in the sport, Sailing Illustrated. And on Tuesday, we did a big preview. It was almost all about thousands of views. People from the UK, from Europe, from across the States, Australia, and New Zealand watched the show live. And we did a preview on Tuesday. Then we did a watch party on our Christmas night, on your Boxing Day. We watched the start for the 90 minutes that you're on the air. And that had one of our biggest viewerships ever, 4,000 plus views. People, again, all over the world, even in the middle of the night in Europe. There's a tremendous amount of interest. Let me read something from Claire Harrington, Peter, who's the Commodore, the newly installed first female Commodore in New York. She said, there are lots of eyes on the great race and a great deal of interest here in the USA. We have great admiration for the administration, promotion, and success of such an iconic race. American yacht clubs aspire to produce events that have the impact and significance of the Rolex Sydney to Hobart. Australia rules, with an exclamation point. And I think she's spot on.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and very much appreciated, because a lot of work, as you well know, as better as anyone, goes in behind the scenes to run an event, a big event like this, and be able to bring it out to the world through the cameras and the YouTubes and all the social media. It's just so good for yachting.
It for sure is. And then probably the dean of the yachting journalists in the world today, Richard Gladwell, who I'm sure you know well, he wrote to me just before, and he said, Peter Shipway and Gordo Bray are a great double act. It's a real pleasure to listen to all that experience. It is a pity that this is Gordon's swan song. So, and Andrew Pindar and Andrew McIrvin, who is the chairman of the IRC now, worldwide, and we've been watching this together all day, again today, and it's just a fantastic coverage that you provide of what is arguably the world's greatest offshore race.
Well, that's brilliant work, Peter. And can I just say, I think the coverage this year has gone to a new level. David Lyle, who's the head of the CYCA marketing, and Ashley Dart, the producer, which has given us so much more of the on the water, getting onto the boats and being able to hear from people while they're racing. I think it's been quite magnificent. And a lot of people have said to me how much they've enjoyed actually getting out onto the boats during the race and seeing what conditions are like. So well done to the CYCA team. And I think we have been the beneficiaries of a terrific coverage led by David Flower and Hype TV, a wonderful team here. It's as good as any team I've worked with anywhere in the world, and I think we're very privileged to be part of this operation, and it's lovely to get that sort of feedback on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's wonderful from Tom, and I second your comments about the setup here and the production and the support we've had.
Let's have a look at the retirements then, Peter, and thankfully those numbers looked fairly rigid, although we had a rush early on where we had 33 retirements. Let's quickly run through them, and you can scan your eyes across them on the left-hand side there and also the right. And Maritimo Catwincher and also Maritimo 100. And then Moneypenny and Mudgee Concrete, they bowed out. Silver Fern and Arwen, they were part of the Ocean Crusaders group, where people actually paid to be part of the
Paid to be
the Rolex,
seasick.
paid to be seasick, Silver Fern and Arwen. But look, it's all part of the bucket list experience, and at least they can say, we started the race, we gave it our best shot, but things don't always work out in ocean racing. And URM Group there, they suffered hull damage, very severe damage on the first night. And then the final, Vixen Racing from New Zealand, and Wild Thing 100, of course, was again a huge disappointment for a grand campaigner in Grand Warrington. Well, talking of retirements, the URM Group team, I've got to say, they have been first in the Sydney to Eden race for the last 2 years. I'm probably being a little unkind there, but they were dismasted last year, and then they had some very severe damage, Peter, in 2025 in the area of the bow. And you might like to explain it as we look at these pictures from URM Group.
Yeah, these came through earlier today, and these are the repairs that they've made to URM in Eden to shore the boat up to get it back to Sydney. Some cracks in the ring frame. It's a little bit hard to see, but that timber has come in to support the hull to give it some strength to get back to Sydney, and quite significant cracks.
Yes, and you can see the cracks in the carbon fibre there. Yeah. So a really nasty situation, and the cracks kept getting bigger, and these were the running repairs to get the boat to motor safely back to Sydney once they'd called into Eden. But Eden, there's a very good point here. Anthony Johnson late at night rang Di Pearson, the media director of the 80th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. Di's have been serving this race so brilliantly for so long, and she immediately got on to Robin Malcolm in Eden, and Robin has arranged a support group for any boats that have to come into Eden. Fantastic story this. The Johnson brothers and their crew of 21 arrived into Eden at 11 o'clock at night, Peter, and the local families accommodated them, they billeted them, they cooked them meals at 11 o'clock at night. They fed them and gave them, no doubt, some local ale, and then took them back to their boat the next morning. And this shot is with one of the families. It's Tony and Carrie Esplen, and Marcus Ashley Jones there, the skipper on the left-hand side, or the tactician, the man who looks after the boat. So people don't realise what happens behind the scenes when you have the disappointment of retirement, but great work there by Di Pearson to coordinate this situation, and all of those URM guys were fed and bedded and then taken out to the airport to get back to Sydney. And there's one more shot we have to show you. It's a couple of the Dutchmen, the professional sailors that were on board URM Group. If we get a chance to have a look at that shot. And Max Dekker was the navigator, and also the bowman was Jordan Van Rooyen, and this is the journey back to Sydney. So look as though they're on sun lounges, Peter, but the two
Very
professional
relaxed.
sailors on board, the two Dutchmen, didn't quite work out for them, but they have been described as the Dutch rudder by the URM boss. So yeah, there's disappointment, but nice to hear those heartwarming stories.
Yeah, wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. I know each year Eden and other ports along the coast, have watches out for boats that retire, and inevitably it happens. And Eden, obviously, the port they come back to if they get into Bass Strait and run into difficulty, and that at various times has housed up to about 20 or 30 yachts in bad years, and especially in '98 when that terrible year was, that Eden was just absolutely full of yachts.
Okay, let's have a look at the line on his board then at the moment, so that you can just catch up with the boats that have finished. And I think, did we say we're up to 9 finishes now, Peter? Yes, Aragon was the last boat to finish, and Smuggler is, I think, just about in the Derwent River at the moment. But running through those first 9, you can see there Master Lock Comanche at round about 6 p.m. last night, first home ahead of Law Connect, and then all the way through to Aragon, who has just crossed the finishing line, just trailing Callisto from New Zealand. So those 2 international boats, 3 internationals actually in the first 9 across the line. So that's good news.
Yep, there's still breeze in the river, but there's not much breeze in the bay. Smuggler's still struggling to get into the river. She's picked up a bit of speed now, so she's well in the river, and we'll see her probably within about an hour and a half, I'd say.
So take us through it then, Peter.
Well,
Smuggler.
Yeah, you can see a few boats around Tasman. There's Smuggler there, just about to approach the river, and then behind her is Hollywood Boulevard. Highly Sprung and Antipodes is there as well.
Brad Kellett doing his 33rd Hobart race in a row on Antipodes, son of David, who has done the Hobart race 49 times. 49 for Dave Kellett. There's Sticky.
Sticky off Tasman. Going wide at Tasman, which is interesting, which tells me that once you get into the bay, there's not much breeze. They've come in and they're giving a pretty wide berth to Tasman Island. So they're running outside in
15 knots. What are they doing? Yeah.
15 knots, but they'll slow down once they turn the corner. Went well to seaward there to come in, attack.
And there's Frantic,
Yep.
Mickey Martin, the former Wallaby winger, and those guys come from Lake Macquarie and Newcastle. Mick Martin, the former roof tiler, certainly enjoyed in his TP52 Frantic. And we might just have a look at the standings quickly, Peter. And IRC is what it's all about now. And of course, the clubhouse leader is still Celestial V70. They had a crew lunch on board today here at Kings Pier. And how's it all shaping up? You're not seeing them on the overall board in that top 7 or 8, but these are the boats that have to beat a finishing time, and you might explain it.
Yes, well, a Celestial V70 has got a corrected time, which is her elapsed time, the time it's taken her to do the race, multiplied by her handicap factor, the TCC, which comes out of the IRC rating, and that gives them a corrected time. And the boat with the lowest corrected time wins the overall trophy. So at the moment, the only boat that, the top of the list of official corrected times is Celestial V70. All these boats still at sea are trying to beat that time, and that's the time they've got to beat Celestial. But if one of these smaller boats gets in, then they will become the clubhouse leader, and things change quite dramatically. But it's based on distance to go and speed they're doing, so it's quite arbitrary, because if a boat surfs down a wave and all of a sudden does 10 knots when it's probably averages 7 knots, then that will elevate them up the handicap list.
And looking at that list, Peter, I would have to say it would be a fairy tale if Love and War is able to come through. They have to finish by 6:47 tomorrow night, and they still have 161 nautical miles to go. And your daughter Grace Shipway, doing her very first Rolex Sydney Hobart, she was able to distribute those lovely rose petals off Bondi as a tribute to the victims of the tragedy on December 14. But tell us a bit about this wonderful boat.
Well, you can just see how gently she's going up and down in the sea, not much slamming there, probably a little bit underpowered if anything with that number 3 jib on and a full mainsail, but that was taken obviously just after the start as they're going to well to sea off Bondi. So there's the updated list of the handicap positions. Crux, the little boat, the 34-footer, still leading. She's got still 206 miles to go. She's doing 8 knots, which is a good speed for a little boat. And then BNC, Mynet Leon, and then Love and War in 3rd spot.
Yes, so we've been able to see 2 finishes. So that's 4 finishes today, starting with Celestial V70, and then just after 2:30, No Limit. And then during our program, we've seen Callisto, 8th across the line from New Zealand, and Aragon, the beautiful Dutch boat, and that makes it 9 finishes. So we still have 85 racing.
So
85 racing. And we started at 128.
Busy tomorrow, I think, but Smuggler's next to finish, then Hollywood Boulevard, Highly Sprung, Antipodes, Sticky, Frantic, MRV, Alithia, Back to Black, Scarlet Runner, Noah's 2, then the Happy Wanderer, the happy wanderer from Sydney, formerly, or it's known as Vamp really, and it's been taken over by the Wandering Warriors support group that support ADF veterans. So
yeah, there are four SAS,
Yeah.
current SAS soldiers on board, and 4 former SAS soldiers, and they are the holders of the Ogden Cup, which is the battle between the services, the Army and the Navy. So that's the intriguing situation, and back to black also, Sean Langman. This is interesting. Now, we've been wanting to see a sail past at the Taste of Summer. Evie is over there, and this is the reception you get. This is a special moment. Evie, over to you.
Gordon, it's all cheers here for Callisto and Aragon. They're coming past a Taste of Summer. Some people have been out here waiting hours for these boats to come up the River Derwent. Finally, they've finished. This is a tradition that they've done from very early on in the Sydney Hobart, that everyone comes out on the piers, the boats come past, and we have the opportunity to cheer and welcome them home after such a long race. Behind me, Aragon, Adrian Carlin, a very famous female navigator on board, and Carolyn Brower, ocean racer. More cheers erupt to congratulate the crews as they've made their way into Hobart.
Yeah, just a fantastic scene, Peter.
Well, I think for first timers it's amazing, but even for hardened veterans they still get a thrill out of it. How the people of Hobart and that have come from interstate perhaps and even overseas give them a fabulous welcome. And I think for James Murray, the owner of Callisto, on his very first Hobart, he'd be overwhelmed by this welcome.
What about Andres Verder from the Royal Yacht Club Dumas in the Netherlands?
Yep.
And he's got his 2 children on board, Nina and Lut.
You couldn't help but be moved on that reception.
And
It is
with
really a hero's welcome.
And 9 countries represented in the crew of Aragon. Adrian Carlin, another one on the notch. I think is that 33 now?
33 or 34 for
or
Adrian,
34 for
33 I think it is for Adrian now.
That's her 33rd race. She's an amazing sailor. I think 4 times nominated for World Female Sailor of the Year.
And look at the crew all lined up on the port side there, giving a wave to all the punters on the dock. A wonderful, wonderful reception.
And the Verder family have all flown out from the Netherlands.
Well, there they
and they're
go.
out there at the Taste of Tasmania. Maybe they're not there. They'll be waiting at King's Pier to greet Aragon. But she certainly is a beautiful boat. A Martin 72 in her first Hobart race, and what a welcome, and a daylight welcome, and a moment to savour for the rest of your life. As Andre said, it's a bucket list thing we've wanted to do. This boat has been sailed out from the Netherlands. They spent about 4 or 5 weeks in Fiji. They said that some of the waters in Fiji were the best they'd seen anywhere in the world. But great work there by Josh Axler. He's a very famous sailor in his own right, and he's the skipper of the boat, and Andres Verder, the co-skipper, the owner of that beautiful Aragon. That's the way to go to Hobart.
So they do that lap down past the Taste of Tasmania and then come back and, as you say, berth here behind us in King's Pier. It's starting to fill up, but not quickly. But I think by this time tomorrow, it'll be certainly a lot more boats behind us.
Yes, well, talking of tomorrow, that's when we'll be coming back to you live from our village studio here in Hobart. It's been a lot of fun. We've seen a lot happening here today. We'll say goodbye from the Taste of Summer as well, and I think that's where Peter Shipway and I may be heading now to see what local produce we can sample. But I think we should start with food, Peter, just to line our stomachs.
Bruni oysters for me, I think.
Okay. Oh, you're not going for the scallop pies.
No, not today.
We might be able to compare notes. But please join us again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock local time for Day 5 coverage of the 80th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race.
This has been a Hype production.